Hello. So to make the crab stuffed mushrooms and the mushroom Alfredo sauce, I used these ingredients. I had some leftover crab meat after making a crab dip, and I had these baby bella mushrooms that I got at Aldi. So I just cleaned those off with a paper towel and pulled off the mushroom stems. And then in a bowl, I'm going to mix some mayonnaise, a few tablespoons, with a few tablespoons of the panko breadcrumbs. These breadcrumbs have the Parmesan cheese already in there. And of course, you could use whatever kind of breadcrumbs you like. And then I added some salt, black pepper, basil, and paprika. But you could do garlic, salt, onion powder, whatever kind of seasonings that you like. I wanted to stick with, Italian seasonings for these mushrooms. And then I added the crab meat, probably a good 4 or 5 ounces here. And I did have a lot left over because I only filled some of the mushrooms. The mushrooms that were intact, I filled. The ones that were, broken in half, I thought I'll slice them and put them in the Alfredo sauce. So then, of course, the cheese that was in the breadcrumbs was not enough for me, so I added some more Romano and Parmesan cheese. Oven is preheated to 350. I did spray the bottom of that dish with a little bit of canola oil spray. And then because I'm half Italian, I needed to add the garlic. Some recipes will call for red onion or green onion or whatever. I didn't have that on hand, and I just really wanted the garlic flavor instead anyway, so I chopped that up and put that in. Then, of course, you just want to mix that up so it's well incorporated. And, I like to make 2 meals or, 2 dishes at once whenever I can. Because, who has the time to be standing at the sink or the stove, washing vegetables, chopping and everything. It does take a lot of time. So then we'll just stuff these, and you can really pack it on there and load them up. And then these will bake for like 15 minutes. And while they're baking, I can make the Alfredo sauce. So I just start by sauteing the mushrooms first in a little bit of olive oil and butter. And now that they're softened, I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. Roughly. Again, I don't measure. So these are all rough measurements. And you just want to cook the flour until it's no longer raw. So pretty much like a medium-high heat. And you just want to mix that around, make sure that it doesn't burn or stick. And then, of course, this is your roux, which is going to thicken the Alfredo sauce. So now I need to add the heavy whipping cream, about a half a cup of that. And then I added about a cup and a half of 2% milk. Wanted to make as much sauce as I could. And you just want to keep mixing this so that it doesn't stick. And if you use a wooden spoon, it's a lot easier to see and to know when it's starting to get thickened and done, because it will stick to the back of the spoon. As you can see, it's not really there because it's not cooked long enough. So once it has heated up and reduced, it will thicken. And you'll be able to tell too, because it'll coat, the back of a spoon. And here it's really pretty thick already. And we're going to add some cheese now, some Parmesan cheese. I had some shredded and some grated. And then you just want to mix this until it all melts down. And then I ended up adding, of course, some more Parmesan and Romano cheese. And like I said, you just want to keep stirring this so that it doesn't stick. But it is like on a low simmer. And then all this is going to melt down and thicken up. And make make a really good sauce. This was so delicious. And the mushrooms were fantastic too. So while they're baking for like a good 15 minutes or so, you know, you can make this on the stove, and you know, it's just about done here now. Now the pasta that I used, shout out to my aunt and uncle and cousin who brought this up with them from New Jersey, Philly area. And it's the perchatelli. As you can see, there's a hole down the center of it, which is great. And Italians, please look away. I did break this in half, I'm sorry, but I was using a small pot because it was just a little serving for me at the time. And here's the mushrooms that are finished, and they're incredible. You gotta try these. And then the sauce was all done. As you could see, it was really super thick. I let it stand for a little bit and put it on the perchatelli. Add a little bit of grated cheese. It was really good. So I hope you try this one, and I'll see you again. Thanks.